Air transportation is considered the safest and fastest means of transportation in the world. Daily, tens of air trips are taken around the country, especially by persons who are dealing with emergencies. However, flight delays have made such journeys slower, and while some delays are considered just, others are considered as mere excuses. In this special report, we delve into the aviation sector and the plague of delayed flights in Nigeria. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority have consistently released reports as regards the industry, and the figures are quite alarming. Flight delays can be said to be the norm in Nigeria.
I have been here till 9 a.m. 9 a.m. and they are not saying anything. I look at me.
You should not qualify.
I have quit.
It's not what you will fly. How can you keep us here? 1:30, 2:30, 4:30, 6:30, you keep us.
I've had delayed flights with, I think, Arik. I've had with Dana. And I've also had with Aero anyway. But I think the last one was with Dana. That was Port Harcourt to Lagos. So they delayed it for they just kept saying, 1 hour, and 3 hours. It was supposed to be 5 o'clock flight, we left 8 o'clock. Then Arik was quite a long time anyway, but that was Lagos to Port Harcourt. It was meant to be a flight of, I think, 3 or 2. We left around 8 or there, even 9 o'clock. And in fact, they were already telling us we might go home or come back, but finally they got a flight that took us. I had a guy that missed his flight, he on air yesterday. He was already here, the flight was on ground, they had not left. And he begged them, okay, let me just quickly join the flight. They said no, he came late, and that he even told him the flight here was on ground, but he just cannot enter. He had to pay 9K to fly today. If it was the other way around, nothing will happen.
Sometimes in December last year, 2021, coming back to Lagos, I booked a flight, Airpeace to be precise. The flight schedule supposed to take off by 7 in the evening, getting to the airport to rush and catch up with my flight. Getting there, the flights were rescheduled several times, from 7 till 8, 8 till 9, 9 till 10, till 11, past 11 before the flight will arrive, then we boarded. 2 weeks ago, my boss sent me his flight schedule that I'm to pick him up in Kano 2:45 p.m. He called me again that he's still in the airport around 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock, I called him to know his itinerary for the day. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, I have to check the flight ticket once again. I noticed, this is Max Air. By the time I called him again around 12 a.m., he told me that he's still in the airport. Not until 2 a.m. he asked me to go and have my rest for the day, that he will find his way. The following morning, he arrived in Kano around 9 a.m. Said they protested in the airport before they can get them another flight from Lagos to Kano. So this has been a recurrent activities of this airline, from Airpeace, Max Air, then Asma Airline. Once you have a flight schedule for 10 a.m., just have it that you are going to leave the airport, let's say 3 hours thereafter. I've been delayed, denied, and severally my activities has been butchered. My operational processes has been disrupted, all because of this flight erratic schedule. If I miss the flight, I'll definitely pay for them to reschedule me. But if they fail to meet up with my own time and shattered my own activities, I think they should have a better way of complimenting their customers, their clients, rather than just leaving us sitting, doing nothing. Even while sitting in the hall, there's no way of coming to the passengers who are about to board, or probably coming to us to explain the reason why the flight flight is being delayed, you will just be there without information.
May last year, my brother was posted to Kano for his youth service, so I booked a flight for him. The day before he was supposed to travel, he got a message from the airline, Max Airline, saying that his flight has been rescheduled, I think for an hour early or an hour late, and we're fine with that. Then the day he was supposed to travel, he got another message. I think his flight was supposed to leave around 5 in the evening, and then we got a message around 12. He got a message around 12 saying that his flight has been cancelled. There was no further directions, nothing in the message. So I, my brother, and my dad went to the airport and went to their counter at the airport to find out more about the whole situation. And they were saying that the flight has been cancelled. They don't have another flight going to Kano. If we can wait till the next day. So we said we cannot wait till the next day. So we asked for a refund. They said we didn't pay over the counter, so they can't give us a refund over the counter, that I should fill a form. So I did that. We left, booked another flight for a different day with another airline. The next day, I didn't get any refund. I called them. They said I'll get my refund soon. Then the day my brother was supposed to travel, I went with him to the airport. He left. I went to Max Air counter to ask them about the refund and all. They said there's no cash here. Meanwhile, before I went there, before I followed my brother to the airport, they was traveling, I called them and they said what I should do is go to the counter and collect cash. That was what they told me. So I went there that day and they said they don't have cash. I have to wait to get the money in my account. At this point I was already annoyed because it seemed like they were just tossing me around. It took about a month before I got a refund.
Thank God they are doing an audit now, presently, checking financial safety and checking, operations health. They're checking all that, which is very, very good, because safety is key in this industry, right? And any little thing can cause a major disaster. Paying for a ticket and the ticket is telling me I'm leaving for 10. I expect it's supposed to be for 10. Right? That is why I come to the airport maybe 2 hours before that time. If I come in 2 hours and I have to wait till 2, 3, then it's a big, big problem. And most times the airlines are not even talking to the passengers. They're not even being apologetic. They also have to work on that part. Customer service is key. Without those customers, there'll be no airline operation. There'll be no airports. Like Ibom Air is the most punctual. Every month they publish it. They give us their network punctuality statistics, right? So if all other airlines are giving us their network punctuality statistics, right, that might be able to solve the problem. Some people will want to publish it because it's in the deep, it's in the red, you understand? But if the NCA insists that, look, every month we want these statistics published to the public, you know what that means? Then the public will tag you as an airline that is not punctual, so we won't fly you. The airlines, they claim they have some sort of alliance already, but we need to see it work. We need to see that alliance work. That alliance will help you cut cost on your maintenance, on your fueling, on your expenses. So that's what they do overseas. In those days when things were fine, as in you can drive or you can, without fear to different parts of the country. You understand? That's what they call the public protest. When they see these things, they start to move from air and they start to go by road. After all, what's the essence? If I'm coming to the airport for an 8 o'clock flight and I'm going to get to wherever I'm going to get at 2, if I go by road quite early, that means I'm almost getting to wherever I'm going to get into.
The issue of aircraft running delays and all this, there are regulations for it. The NCA has regulation for it. Whether they are enforcing it is another thing. Even the one that has to do with safety in the air and even on the ground, How often do we enforce it? The level we are today is a level that everybody should be very worried. Very, very worried. For me, if they said it started last year, I would say no, it started 20 years ago. What are the things that will cause delay? All of them are taking off about the same time, especially in the morning. You see almost about 8 aircrafts taking off about the same time. All of them, all the airlines that are available in this country will want to take off about the same time in the morning. The second aspect is are the facilities available in the airport, are they sufficient for all of them? Just yesterday, I started hearing now that they want to, at the same time, audit the financial book of all the airlines because one of them just collapsed. It is not done like that. Auditing of every airline, every operator, including the airport, is every year. The question is the one you want to do now. When last did you do it? What is giving you the worry now that is making you to pack all the books, let us do everything together? These are things that are killing the industry. If tomorrow you open all their books and they all look the same, down, so what are you going to do? The airlines, everything collapse.
Are we really lenient with the airlines? You will get an answer which I will answer for you. Number two, we find airline pay fines, 30 million naira, 25 million, 45 million fine for one thing or the other. They can't even pay it at a go. We have had an airline that was fined 45 million, as we speak, is not flying again in Nigeria. So, you mean, are we to regulate, sanction people out of existence for us not to have an airline to carry people? Is that what people are saying? FAA in America fine airlines sometimes $400 million. People read it online, you can Google it. $300 million. If we find that an airline take $10 million here, will it be in operation the next month? It will not, certainly not. So when people compare all this, are we really lenient? If we are lenient, claim we'll be dropping off skies in Nigeria. We can't afford to be lenient as people assume. And ordinary warning letter to an airline is a sanction. If we are here and the airlines are not there, what are we doing here? We'll try to balance it. Remember, our main mandate by law is safety oversight of that aircraft and everything. All of that things we are doing is, who works on the airplane? Is it qualified? Is it current? The machine itself, is it okay? Airworthy? And a lot of things we do to make it airworthy. The environment is operating in the airport and all other people working. Do they have the right equipment? Are they working? Is the environment okay for safe landing, takeoff, and fly through? These are the mandate. Passenger satisfaction is auxiliary. If you do well, you prosper in it. It's your money, it's your investment. If you don't do well, free entry, free exit. So our interest is not for them to exit, but the system we are running in aviation is a free entry, free exit.
Before now, it could be attributed to several factors. Factors that we cannot readily communicate to the public because of security reasons. So, for instance, you wanted, to take off on the flight, and without your knowing so, the VIP movement. Say, for instance, you're in Abuja, you're about to take off, and the airspace is locked down because the president needs to fly. That can happen. That can cause upwards of 1 hour to 2 hour delay when the VIP movement is happening. So when that happens, there's really nothing anybody can do but to communicate to the passengers that there is a delay. And like I said, for security reasons, you cannot come out rightly and say this is why we delayed the flight. Secondly, it could be something like weather. We've had situations where we're boarding the flight in very climate weather in Lagos, and then we radio the tower in in the final destination, say for instance, maybe Calabar or Enugu, and they tell us that the weather in Enugu is not good enough for landing. In that case, we will now delay due weather. A lot of people do not like to hear this thing, but these are force majeure that we have to contend with. It happens here and far in between, and the reason this happens is because we do not have the kind of equipment that allows us to fly regardless of the weather. The people in airports in the Western world do not have this issue. And sometimes it might be way beyond our control. If we need a fueler to fuel our truck, okay, so we already had an agreement and was landing at a certain time. We already told the third party vendor that this is when we're going to fuel our truck. And for some reason there's traffic and the fueler doesn't get to the airport on time, guess what's going to happen? It's going to hit into our turnaround time. Over the past, we try so much to mitigate it. We have certain level agreements with contractors to say, look, we know our value proposition is built on our safety and on our strict turnaround time. We need to be here at this time. But just like we claim force majeure, sometimes people too can run into force majeure. And when that happens, it eats into our time, and invariably it compromises on our value proposition, which is quick turnaround time. So these are some of the factors that can eat into and of course affect our turnaround time. And what we do as an organization is to go back to the drawing board and see if there's any way we can mitigate these things. And the ones that we can mitigate, we mitigate, and the ones we cannot, we just hope and pray that everybody knows their home so that we are able to meet up our value proposition. And so far, it's been working. But that percentage, as much as we want to eliminate it totally, would unfortunately creep up once in a while.